Hello, and welcome back to Books and Crannies,
a book lovers podcast.
I'm Danielle.
And I am Sarah.
And guys, everybody, just listen. We've got a guest with us today. We warned you last time.
We did.
Yeah, we got another Danielle in the room.
Hi.
Hi. We're so excited. We met Danielle on TikTok.
Yeah.
And the way that TikTok happens. And she won our 1K giveaway, and we got the Serpent in the Wings of Night. And then we decided that we had to do it.
We had to.
And I'm glad we did, because this book is rocking.
It is. Yeah.
It's a good vibe. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But we're talking about chapters 1-28 today.
Yeah.
Y'all. And I feel like we should just dive right in, because there's a lot to talk about.
It is a lot.
Yeah. It is. Where do we even start? How does this book go? I forgot everything.
I also forgot. I didn't take any notes this time, so I'm like, ugh. I remember the last 50 pages.
That's enough.
With my goldfish brain.
We started with the king of, how do we say that word? Let me look at it. It's like Hiaj. No, that feels wrong. Oh geez. Hiaj. Hiaj. How do you pronounce that in your brain, Danielle?
I think I said Hiaj as well.
Yeah, sounds right to me.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some names in here where we touch base with each other, like, what the heck?
I feel like that would be with any fantasy. I'm like, just make something up in my head, go with it, and then after I read the book, I'm like, oh, I was saying that wrong the entire time.
I know. And then you hear it on TikTok or something, and you're like, wait a minute.
Wait, that sounds right.
Yes. But we had the king of Hiaj. Hiaj. Hayaj.
Hey, Ad.
I'll stop. Whose name's Vincent. I think I'm just gonna call him that. That's easier. Vincent is a normal name. Anyway, he finds a small girl, in this prologue piece, and he's like enamored with her for some reason.
Yeah, he's kind of creepy about it, honestly.
A little creepy about it, and he, I don't know. He's talking about like love and how that's his first sense of it is upon finding this small child. I don't remember if it said how old she was, but how'd you feel about that?
That she looked like she was about 8, but could be 4 because of how tiny she was.
That's right.
Made me feel a little bit weird because he just comes up on this little kid, talks about how he's like all of a sudden knows about love with some.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll keep rolling.
Yeah. We'll see if it's better after the first couple of pages. But that is a strange intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She bites him or something.
Does she?
Yeah.
Maybe she
That's where she gets her nickname, the little serpent, or the serpent from biting
she bit him.
Yeah, she bit him. That's a good way to interact with a vampire.
My thoughts exactly.
She's like, hey, don't know about you. I'm just going to sink my teeth in.
Chomp.
Little Serpent is what he calls her from the get. So we know that that's her like coin nickname.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of his like, his buds want to capture her or kill her or otherwise. And he's like, no, she's mine. And takes her. Takes her in. And then, you know what? We jump ahead quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how old Araya is her name, right?
Yes.
Is that how you say it, Danielle?
Yep.
Let's fact check across all three of us. Maybe one of us will get it right. Araya. But she is like out hunting vampires.
She's hunting vampires, yeah. People might find it stupid, but it's like she's like taking her anger out on all the vampires.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Like a human girl just casually crawling through a city, and how you doing that?
Yeah.
Getting enough stealth and momentum to just take down a vampire.
Yeah, aren't vampires like super strong and fast, and like how are you doing that?
Little human.
Yeah. Just going through the city and taking down vamps. But she was taught by Vincent, I think, who taught her how to slay vamps, or at least taught her how to fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then she goes to Alana.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Alana.
I'm already sad.
I know.
About Alana. And I imagine she's like a spinstress. She seems very eclectic.
She does.
Yeah, did we find out how she ended up to be like in the vampire world? She's
I don't
just
think so.
there and
I know that there was like at one point her and Araya were talking and Araya was trying to get her to leave before the whole competition thing.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that like you had a choice to come here and I didn't, so you should leave. So it was like she came there willingly. I don't know.
But I wonder if we're going to find out more about, well, we may not, because
Probably won't.
probably won't. We can't say again. Spoilers. But she's interesting and is like handing out silk or something. She's trying to give Araya a scarf. And I'm like, who's going to use that? Dressing fancy. Araya thinks it's funny. In her like fighting leathers and stuff. But then she does then ask Alana to leave because of the
Oh, was that already?
yeah, Kajari. It happens fast.
Okay.
Is it Kajari? Is that what we're going with?
yep.
Yeah, that
Yep.
sounds right.
Copy. And Alana's like, no, man, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and it says on page 12, I had been raised in this world, but Alana had joined it out of her own volition 10 years ago.
That's all.
So
That's all we
we
get.
know.
And she like gives her blood to vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah, willingly.
Yeah.
Just a feast for vampires.
Like, suck my neck.
I went for wrist, you went for neck. Choose your poison. Yeah, Alana feels like a character. She's just like letting Vamp snack on her.
Yeah.
She's smoking cigars.
Yeah,
all
she's
day.
sassy old broad that's just like, all right, I'm here, let's do it.
I know. I kind of love her.
I know. Don't get too attached.
Well, and we learned that like Alana doesn't really like Vincent. She thinks that he's forcing Araya into the competition.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got confused and thought I said Araya didn't like him, and I was like, she's kind of obsessed with him. But yeah, Alana, not a fan.
Not a fan.
But Araya is competing in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
That is for vampires generally.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I get kind of favor vibes from her. I'm like, you're being kind of dumb.
Danielle, have you read ACOTAR? You have, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Favor's not smart for most of the series. One bad decision after another.
Yeah.
So it does kind of feel like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe Araya will pull it out and be a boss ass bitch one day.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
maybe.
We'll see. Anyways. Alana's like, man, that's a dangerous tournament, and sort of alludes to the idea of Araya being turned into a
Mhm.
vampire. And then they part ways after Alana says she's gonna leave, I think. She agrees to finally.
Yeah.
After Araya begs her forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she gets back to her room. And man, these names, y'all. Come on now. Sivrin the city, the town, Sivrinaj.
Let me see it.
Sivrinaj.
Sure. Sivernage.
Trying to reference also. She's like, I don't know.
Like, wait, what is this?
Sivrinaj, the Royal Nightborn territory. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
the
was a
first, I don't know,
confusing.
like 50 pages of this, I was kind of lost. a little
Yeah,
bit.
like there was a lot of information tossed at you like right away.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like keep it all like organized and it kind of just all jumbled. But I feel like as you go on, it like lays it out a little bit better.
Yeah, it
for
starts to get its act together. But anyway, the Nightborn territory, we can just call it that.
Yeah. It's a
It
mouthful, but
is kind of fancy. Its
yeah.
architecture is like inspired by the sky and moon.
Mm-hmm.
And she calls Vincent Dad. Good
It's kinda icky.
old Daddy-O.
Yeah.
However old vampire who is the king of this Nightborn castle.
Chaos. Yeah.
Territory.
Mm-hmm.
And
Icky.
what?
It's icky.
It's icky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel
Like,
about
he's
her calling
always
him
like,
Dad.
he's my father.
Yeah, I just let it go, but I'm still like not fully comfortable with the idea.
Yeah, no.
He obviously raised her and taught her how to fight and taught her how to kill vampires. So like he did teach her something, but I still feel like at any minute, like you're a vampire, she's human. Like you could snap and turn at any minute.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of like ulterior motive under
Yeah.
everything that he did for her.
For sure. Why is he rescuing one little human girl when more
Yeah.
often than not they're eradicating them?
Yeah.
What's that about? I do feel like later on in this section, it kind of gives the vibe that Araya is questioning all of that too. She's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
something seems fishy with good old Daddy Vincent.
No.
That makes it worse for sure. But he comes and visits her and he's like afraid for her in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to have some sort of paternal worry about her entering the competition.
Well, and he knows all about it because he has already like went through it and won it before. So he's like, I know what you're getting yourself into. I know what to expect. And so he's like terrified. 'Cause obviously, she's a little tiny human. And you're going against all these badass vampires that could literally eat you and kill you. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on. In what world? And I wonder if she's any bigger proportionally at this point.
She's still the size of a 40-year-old.
I wasn't so much thinking that as I was like, is she a 4-foot tall adult? Like maybe she's still real little.
Maybe.
I don't know. Perhaps. But anyway, they do a training session. They like go and train a bit, and Vincent pulls out all stops. He's throwing magic at her. He's got his wings out.
Mm-hmm.
He's freaking, I don't know, weapons.
Yeah.
He's doing the whole 9 yards. And we learned a bit about his air markings. Like he's got a neck
the neck
situation.
tattoo thing.
Tattoo. I mean, it kind of gives a tattoo.
I was a little bit confused by that. Was there a reason, like, did he get it from doing something, or was he just like made or born with it?
That's a
I
good
don't know.
question. I feel like part of my brain remembers or thinks that it was like if you kill the like person you're taking the throne from, you get it, or not. Maybe not, because later they talk about the Rashawn heir and how one hasn't come up in however long. But Uriah like asks him if one did, so maybe someone is just born with that mark all of a sudden or something. I don't know. It could be either way. We can make our own story.
Yeah.
But he's got a fancy neck tattoo and red wings or red outlined wings.
Red outlined weens.
That's an entirely different thing.
I want to get that checked out, buddy.
You might need some medicine. Anyway, they are training. He's going balls to the wall, and then finally she like gets him and is about ready to pierce his heart. And he talks about Asteris. They sort of allude to Asteris. Asteris?
I've been
Asterisk.
saying asterisk in my head.
I was saying Asteris.
Asteris? Okay. It kind of is spelled like asterisk.
Yep.
So I could see that. But anyway, that's apparently like a big old blast of magic that just, I don't know.
Comes from the stars, supposedly.
Yeah. And evaporates people.
Yeah.
Something.
Sounds a little similar to misting, I guess.
Yeah. Where's Reese?
I'm looking for him everywhere.
I mean, there's wings there. Come on. And then they talk a little bit about the Kajari. I have a note about the freaking red marks.
Okay.
It just says that all of the Hiaj, high age, and Rishan.
I can't do
it.
The H and R heirs. HR heirs. They get the marks and they've been waging war forever. That's all I said. That wasn't actually helpful at all. But nonetheless, the Kajari is a once in a century tribute to the House of Night, prompted by Nyaxia, who is a goddess.
Yeah.
And isn't that
The elite of all of the vampires, like the vampire goddess. I've actually heard her name in other vampire-y books too.
Oh, okay.
I see.
Can't remember exactly what it was. It was like the Hunted, Burned series by PC Cast, Untamed. House of
Oh.
Night series. That's what it was.
Okay.
She was
Okay.
referencing that too.
More to add to my.
I'm like, now I need to read it.
You can never say a book title around us. We have a problem. But that's cool. That's interesting. I wonder if it is very much like built into vampire mythology. Is
Yeah.
that the right word? It might be. But Nyaxia is a goddess of night. The most coolest vampire lady.
Don't you want to be her friend?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? She'd be a good friend to have, I suppose. But they have to go and compete in this big old battle, which again gives Vampire Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And whoever wins gets to get a gift from her, like a blessing.
Well, and to win, you have to like kill everyone else, right? Everyone's got to be dead for someone to win.
Did they clarify that anywhere?
I don't know.
I wasn't sure if everybody had to be dead or they just had to like win the final obstacle, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it said explicitly one way or another, but I kind of imagine it's a to the last person situation. I don't know though.
I only assume because when Vincent found out that she was like allying with dude, he was like, well, then you're gonna have to kill him later.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I guess they do talk about taking each other out later on.
Yeah.
But I have a quote, y'all, if you want to talk about it.
Okay.
It's talking about like Araya's survival or chances of in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's on page 24 and it says vampires from across Obatreus would travel to participate in the Kajari, drawn by the promise of wealth or honor. Dozens of the most powerful warriors from all three houses, the House of the Night, the House of Shadow, and the House of Blood, would die in pursuit of this title. And most likely, so would I. But they were fighting for power. I was fighting for survival. Vincent and I turned to each other at the same time. He was always pale, his skin nearly matching his silver eyes. But now he seemed a downright sickly shade. His fear made my own unbearable, but I fought it down with a promise. No, I had trained my entire life for this. I would survive the Kajari. I would win it, just like Vincent had before me 200 years ago. So she is down to try to make it through.
Yeah.
And she wants to be turned out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's her ask of the goddess.
Yeah.
Would you want to become a vampire, guys?
No, I don't want to live forever.
That's fair. I don't think I do either.
Blood makes me kind of squeamy, so no
If my
thanks.
friends like die and then I have to live through that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
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 That sounds like too much.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I feel like she wants to do it for revenge on the people who took her family from her. And I guess she doesn't really have any family outside of vampires now.
Not that she knows of.
That's true. But she can't go find them because,
Yeah.
Anyhow.
That's why she wants to be a vampire, so she can go find her family.
Yeah.
Or try to, anyways.
In the Rashan territory.
Yeah.
Enemy territory. But then they go to a feast.
Yeah, they gotta like scope out her competition.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to be in a room full of hungry vampires.
No.
Got real uncomfortable real fast when she
Yeah.
was the only one actually eating and everybody else has their goblets. I was like, me. I'd be
No, thank you. Well, and I mean, at least they have goblets, Hopefully that keeps them fed.
Yeah, but
Well,
there's
she's-
also, I think this is when she runs into never mind.
I feel like there were people bloodletting there, like letting the vampires drink them
Yeah, I think Alana was there
prior to them showing up.
prior. Yeah.
Yeah. But nonetheless, Vincent's going around the room like pointing out random people.
Mhm.
It's like that guy over there,
Watch out for
Lord
him.
Revinth. He's got a bad knee. He's gonna participate, so take him out at the knees. Coretta,
Coretta.
bad swordsman, but good magician. Byron, bloodlusty. And Ibrahim. Is this like Abraham, but with eyes?
I think
Yeah,
that's
Feels right.
for sure.
Poor guy. Poor Ibrahim.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
parents fucked him up.
so messed up. I was like, oh my gosh. So that he wouldn't kill them and take over the throne and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Spicy.
I know. It's intense family politics.
Yeah.
Dang. You're like, nope, you can't rise to power before we're ready for you to.
Yeah. All the more reason to not be a vampire.
I know. Facts. We're adding to our cons list.
Yeah.
I don't think we made it pros at all.
oh,
No.
you can fly.
True.
I'm
Well,
afraid
some
of heights, so
You can fly. You're pretty. We're already beautiful. All three of us. Dang it. But then, yeah, Ibrahim, his canines have been removed. His legs are bludgeoned.
mm-hmm.
A whole thing. Poor kid. And he was like young, about like actually Araya's age, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like ancient. But then Jasmine comes over, who is the head of the guard. And Vincent seems like enamored with her.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants her.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Yeah. He's got hot and bothered
At some point. She gave me that vibe.
that she also wants him.
Yeah, and that she's like gonna cause issues for Araya at some
Yeah,
point.
for sure.
Yeah, she seems a little saucy.
Mhm.
She's got something brewing. And she does seem triggered by Araya's scent too in this interaction.
Mhm.
And Vincent like sends her away. He's like, "Get out of here, Araya. Back off." And then she sees a mysterious man.
Oh yeah. Looking at paintings.
Who's this mysterious dark
Who could
man?
it be?
Could it perhaps be the main male character?
I don't
No
know.
way. And she gets approached by a little lady too, who's like, "Hey, you want to try this food?"
Oh yeah.
And-
Is it human? Like, can we actually eat it?
Yeah. Are we sure? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. But because of that distraction, she looks back and the mysterious man's gone. So then they all leave. They leave. Vincent summons Araya to go. And they start chatting a little bit, and he tells her that, you know, she's used to being underestimated and to use that to her advantage in the Kajari,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how he won his.
Yeah, she's like, "Is that what you did?" He was like, "Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
basically."
But he had magic and stuff at least.
Yeah.
Well, and he was talking about that asterisk, whatever kind of magic. So he obviously has that. So did he just like hide that he had that until the end?
Yeah,
Like let it didn't?
I know. How did he keep them from overestimating him? He just pretended to be real scared the whole time.
All cowering in my boots.
Oh, jeez. But then it blasts them all at the end or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually even a fight. He just Kajari's them? Asterisks is them. Obviously. Araya feels insignificant. I know you had like marched, guys. I don't know why I do a podcast. I could never talk. Marked a page about this sort of interaction, about Araya feeling insignificant as a human.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I am on it.
Oh,
You
shoot.
want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
So Vincent says to her, she asks him if he was nervous, and he's like, "I was nervous, but I knew the Kajari was my only path to a life worth remembering. Death isn't frightening when wished. Nope. When weighed against an insignificant existence." And she says, "An insignificant existence." Those words hit me unexpectedly hard because what existence was more insignificant than this? Living in constant fear, hobbled by my own blood and my own human weakness. I could never be anything this way, fighting so hard to survive that I could never do anything, could never be anything of worth to the people who had nothing but me.
Poor Araya.
Yeah. Poor little weak human.
I know. Well, and with Vincent being like, yeah, my vampire life was real insignificant. So
Yeah.
I just made something happen. She's like, well, dang.
Yeah.
If you're insignificant, then what am I? Poor lady. But she wants to save any potential family that might be out there because Vincent can't go to the Rashawn territory where they might be. So she wants to become his Coriate. What is this?
Oh, let's see.
Coriatae. The
Coriate.
Heartbound?
Yeah.
Coriate.
Coriate.
Which essentially like would make her as strong as him. His power
Yeah, it like
becomes
gives her his power without her having to actually change because apparently the change is super dangerous.
Yeah.
So it would like do it automatically.
Right. Getting turned more often than not ends in your demise.
Yeah.
Rather than actually becoming a vampire. But Corite reminds me again of like a freaking, I don't know, Aelin, Rowan, or
Mm-hmm.
all this magic sharing.
Yeah.
Connections everywhere.
I know.
Everyone's just
We're
trying
just
to
reaching for it.
around. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Especially because we're still in the middle of reading ACOTAR.
Yeah. We still have one more book. But the Coriate gives me some sort of weird magic connection.
Yeah, for sure.
But then they make their offering to Nyaxia. She's got to like offer up her blood to participate in the Kajari. And they do it.
They do.
So she's officially entered.
They say a little thing when they're doing it too that I want to read real quick.
Yeah, I have that marked. You tell me.
All right, this is on page 36 and 37.
Okay.
Nyaxia, mother of ravenous dark, womb of night, of shadow of blood, I give you Araya of the Nightborn. She is the daughter my heart gave me, just as my heart made me your son. Her presence in the Kajari is the greatest gift I will ever offer you, save perhaps for her victory.
I love that he's so confident that she's going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which why, Vincent? What do you got brewing?
Yeah,
That's
see,
my
like there's something, and I feel like part of me thinks that he knows that there's family out there, but doesn't want her to know about it. I don't know, he's just shady to me. There's something about him that doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he's a bad guy. Like, for sure.
He's an undercover cop.
Wants her to win and is going to do whatever he can to help her win because there's something in it for him.
Yeah.
There has to be.
There has to be.
Also, like, what other vampire in this whole world is keeping a human daughter? Like, what's that about?
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody in his court and otherwise thinks it's suspicious too.
They better.
Yeah. Just that she's his human pet.
Yeah.
But then before we move on, there's a little interlude and it's like a flashback to when Araya first wakes with Vincent. And she's real little still, obviously. She just got there. And she like cowers from him and is hiding from him. But he tells her like she's safe with him. He'll never hurt her. But he's the only one who can make that promise and mean it or something.
Yeah.
I feel like he's very manipulative.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody else says that to you. They don't mean it. Only I do.
Yeah. Okay, gaslighting.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who speaks the truth. You have a big ego, Vincent. It does sound weird from the beginning, but he says he's going to train her. And then we flash forward to freaking present day, and Araya is waking up in a dark, scary place. The Kajari started before they thought it would. It was supposed to start at like the full moon, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, yeah, they like Vincent had said that she can literally start it whenever Nyaxia can.
Oh yeah.
But typically it starts on the full moon or something like that.
Riddle me this.
Yeah.
Friends. Is Nyaxia even a thing, or is it just like all of these high people saying that Nyaxia is ruling the roost.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am not entirely convinced that Nyaxia is actually a thing that exists.
No, absolutely not. Me neither. No.
I feel like with the way that things are happening, because it was like as soon the night that he told her, "Oh, beware, it could happen anytime." It was
Mhm.
that night that it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And then there's just been like certain things that have happened since that he just feels like he's like the master puppet. Like he's the one that put these things together. And at some point they even ask, I can't remember if it was her or Rain that had asked like, don't you have any sway over this? Like can't or it was her because it was about Rain being like interrogated.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
have about this? I'm like,
And he's like,
How much-
no.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
As if he knows nothing. But yeah, Nyaxia feels made up for sure.
Absolutely.
They're like, yeah, there's totally a goddess pulling the strings. Lies.
Yeah.
Because then they can just do whatever they want and say Nyaxia is the one who did it.
Mhm.
Pop out. But she wakes up. She's in the Moon Palace. I want to go to the Moon Palace.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty cool.
It does. It sounds pretty sweet.
Minus raging, angry vampires that would,
Yeah. If we could evacuate first and then go visit.
Just that small little detail. Come on.
I don't know. The three of us together, we get. No, I'm just
Yeah, we
kidding.
could take at least one
Do I
down.
look like a fighter? Come on. I get winded going up the stairs. Holding my daughter. Anyways, she hears a bunch of vampires.
Yeah.
And they're in a frenzy.
Yeah.
They're bloodthirsty. They're screaming humans. And she recognizes one specific scream as Alana's, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Friggin' ouch.
Yeah.
Wasn't- Because it started early, she didn't have time to get out.
Yeah, before she heard the screaming, she, it's like dark when she wakes up or whatever, and she's like trying to find her blades and cuts the shit out of her hand.
Oh, yeah.
Which, vampires, blood, come on. You kidding me?
What are you doing?
Come on. Yeah, it's a bad mix for
Yeah.
sure. So she's just like blindly walking through with a bleeding hand in a building full of vamps who are in a frenzy.
And she can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's dark.
It's a really good way to start the competition.
Yeah.
She's off to a great start. She starts going up, and she knows she has to get to like the top of a tower or something where there's a bunch of windows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's trying to go through and gets stopped by a mysterious man.
Yep.
Who could that be? Another-
Who could it be?
Any chance it's related to the painting guy. But she's running up and he stops her and he's like, listen, they're dead. You
Yeah.
can't go find them.
He's like, if you go after them, you're gonna be dead too. So you better quit it.
And she doesn't listen.
Of course not.
Much like Feyre, who never heeds warnings. She just
Well, and
carries
they
on.
too that with the Moon Palace, it was enchanted. So at any given moment, things could be shifting and changing on them. So she thought she was getting closer, and all of a sudden, the voices were getting further and further away. And she goes, "Okay, maybe he was right. Maybe I shouldn't go after him."
Huh. Weird. A vampire knows more about vampire world than I do.
Yeah.
Vampire world. This should be a theme park.
Is this when she stabbed him in the thigh too to get away from him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just sticks her. That's not a nice.
Settle down.
She stabs him and runs away. Keeps running.
Mm-hmm.
But then she hears Alana die.
Yeah.
Hears the screaming through the end. Can you imagine? That's terrible. And you don't actually know where she is because she's like the sounds keep getting closer and further away because the house is changing. But then she encounters a lady vampire
Mm-hmm.
and stabs her, I think, and runs. She's just stabbing and running. That's her MO right now. And finds a greenhouse.
Without being
Yeah, without being able to. How are you making those stabs? Come on. In what world?
Beginner's luck.
Twice? That's not how beginner's luck works. But then she finds the greenhouse.
And she goes in because obviously that's the safest place
Yeah.
when
in
the
theory.
sun comes up.
Right, but it's still nighttime. So she just like hunkers down,
Mm-hmm.
tries to stay hidden. And once the sun is high, she leaves the greenhouse and finds Lana's body.
So sad.
I know. She gives her like a Viking's death, though.
Yeah.
Except not on the water, so it's not really at all. But then a like Sean vampire behind her wrestles.
Yeah, he's like blood drunk.
Yeah.
I was gonna say milk drunk, but
Milk-
blood drunk.
Kinda
Passed
similar.
out, blood all over him.
Yeah,
She kills him.
she does. She assumes that he took part in Alana's demise.
Yeah.
And then she burns Alana's body and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And all the contestants are summoned the next day or maybe that night. I don't know. Time is relevant. And there's about 50 of them. That's a lot of vamps to go through to get to the end.
Yeah.
I feel like she's up against a lot. And there's 10 House of Blood, 10 House of Shadow. We haven't heard much about any of them now. And the rest of them are House of Night, which is where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And the Minister?
Yep.
Why they gotta spell it like that? Why can't it just be Minister?
'Cause fantasy.
They gotta make the word minister fancy. Add an A and it's a fantasy name.
Yep.
In any context. But the Minister, Vincent and Acolytes all kind of show up. And Vincent is showing all his air markings. He's like, don't mess with me. I am top dog, fools. And they tell them that there's going to be 5 trials every 3 weeks for the next however many months.
I think 4 months.
Yeah. I'm like, we could do the math, but I'm not doing that.
No.
Math would not math. But the first one's a full moon trial.
Mm-hmm. 5. Yep.
Indeed.
There's the full moon trial, the waning trial, the half moon trial, the crescent trial, and the new moon trial.
Trial doesn't sound like a word.
Trial.
They also learned that they can leave the freaking palace. I
Yeah.
kind of wasn't expecting that.
They can only leave at night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to be back before dawn.
Yeah.
Probably for a number of reasons, darkness being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that they can defend themselves, but Nyaxia would rather they shed blood in the trials. So like a really roundabout way of saying like,
Don't kill anybody.
yeah, but like you
in the
could
trials. But
if you want.
if you want. If you need to defend yourself.
Can't decide one way or another. And then tomorrow at sundown is the first trial.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to dinner.
They go to dinner.
And the guy that she killed when she found Alana's body, his brother is there and really angry.
Yeah, that's when that. He's angry. He comes in screaming.
Asking who
He's
done
like,
it.
who done it? They killed my fucking brother.
They did. Yeah. And he's trying to find answers. And Rain, guys, Rain.
About time. We know his name.
The mysterious man who's been appearing here and there.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Well, I don't know. That's a great question.
I can tell you.
Is this his power?
Yeah.
Makes
Oh,
a
yeah.
statement and just freaking kills him.
He
Yeah.
does. The
Yeah.
asterisk.
The asterisks.
Yeah, he explodes the guy. I don't really know how asterisk works, but
It's like misting, I'm telling you.
you're right. Okay.
That's what I was talking to. It was just like a
Yeah. It like
Ladder.
pops.
Confetti.
Human
Ew.
confetti.
Oh, no. Nobody wants to be in that room. Or they all do. I don't know. Although vampire blood's probably nasty.
Probably.
Anyway, he does that. And
how do you say her name? Mish?
Mish.
Oh, she just was like, you killed him, didn't you?
I know, I love that.
I know.
She's like giggling about it.
Yeah, Mish thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love Mish and I like her interactions from the very beginning.
Yeah.
She's the same lady that was at the feast and trying to offer her food
Mm-hmm.
when she was looking at hot, mysterious Rain.
Yep.
Mish. But she interacts with Araya a little bit. And then Araya, after all that's said and done, goes and meets Vincent outside the palace.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like beat up. She's not doing good. She's got wounds. And they haven't even gotten to the first trial yet.
Yeah.
So he gives her some potion.
He gives her some healy things. Is this where he gives her the poison too?
Uh-huh.
He gives her some blades that have poison in them.
The fancy blades.
Yeah, I want one.
Do you?
No.
I'd hurt myself.
Same. I'd find a way to stab myself and melt my flesh.
With the poison. Yeah, it does sound dangerous. But they're pretty fancy. They're like made for Nightborn vamps to do vamp stuff. But she gets them. And she runs into Rain on the way back, and he like wants an apology for her stabbing him in the thigh. Which, like, fair. I mean, it's kind of rude. And she won't give it to him. She's like, relax. But then they're all summoned again for the freaking moon trial, guys. Half moon, full moon. I don't know where I'm at. Full moon trial.
Is it full moon?
It is. It's the first one.
Cool.
And they at this point allude to the House of Blood curse situation. About how there's like a leader for the House of Blood participants, and she has the markings of the curse or something.
And like it slowly gets worse and worse, and they get more and more frenzied and like have less control over themselves and their like craziness, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
And we end up finding way more soon.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
But then as they're waiting for direction about the trial, the Moon Palace just goes away. It disappears. And they're in a giant arena with just thousands of vampires in the stands.
Yep.
Cheering.
And
it's time.
It is time.
It's time for the first trial. I have a quote and I don't know what it's about. Do you want to hear it?
Sure.
I said surrounded by demons. So that gives you a little bit of context. So on page 77.
That's the one I have marked.
Great.
Good job.
So Raya's in there. And they're all trapped in these like different little enclosures with a bunch of demons. And she says, I'd only seen a demon in real life once, and I had been so injured that I barely remembered it. Even that horror had been nothing compared to these. They moved on all fours, hairless and dark gray, with blackened veins that pulse beneath their skin. Serrated black claws capped two long fingers on hands made for grabbing and killing. Their faces, flat, with sharp cheekbones, slit noses, and white, mucus-coated eyes, were mostly mouth, which extended from pointed ear to pointed ear, dripping with blackened saliva over layers of jagged teeth. They were, at once, chillingly animalistic and sickeningly humanoid.
You were doing so
I got
good.
There. I know. I was a pro. And then that word said, no thanks. So,
yeah, that description
sounds pleasant.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah.
I want to pet him. Sort of sound like Voldemort, too, a little bit.
Yeah.
But on all fours. I don't want to see that.
And with the mouth that extends from ear to ear.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
That's bad. Definitely a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I could see it. But they're all separated into groups. And Raya's with Rain and Coretta, who is the magician that Vincent pointed out at one point.
And is she the one that he was like, stay away from her, keep your mind guard up around her?
Oh yeah, she's got mind magic or something. But they're stuck in this little place. What happens, guys?
Well,
they're starting to get beat up by the demons, and they're down to 4, Rashawn and Coretta included. And she starts like studying the demons a little bit and is wondering about them.
Realizes that there's like one in each little section, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, go after that one. Like, cut his head off.
Yeah.
Also, I think I might have gotten a little bit confused, but is this where she realized that these demons were actually these like the House of Blood vampires that has just like that's where they eventually get to?
Yeah.
That the leader that's in the trials with her is gonna get to that point at some point.
I
Yeah.
feel like they gotta.
Shit's gonna get wild in that house.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot on the horizon, y'all. My
There's so
God.
much. I feel
I
like the
know.
second is gonna be nuts.
I know. The second half is going to get crazy.
I'm excited.
I mean, we
I'm so
left
excited.
unintentionally at a cliffhanger, so I love that for us.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
We have a real knack for doing
Yay.
that.
She's like, I want to finish it. I mean, yeah, I know. We do. We pick chapters at random, mostly for like the amount of pages that we can talk about in the
Yeah.
time that we need, and we always end up doing this.
Always.
But it's good. I'm excited about it. But yeah, we find all these demons. They're freaking House of Blood vamps who have
Yeah.
just gone too far. They're lost to the curse. But anyway, Araya does tell Rain about the one with the forehead mark
Mm-hmm.
and tells him to get it. And she like starts running into the middle of the demons, planning to go for the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And gets like
She gets scratched or something and gets blood or something in her cut, but the blood has poison from her.
she
Knife.
stabbed a demon and
Uh-huh.
his blood started raining down the poison on her.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Got shot in the thigh with an arrow.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
We need a third brain in here. all the
Yeah.
time. There's too much to keep track of. But yeah, one of the other vamps in the room
Mm-hmm.
who could fly shoots her with an arrow.
Yeah.
Rude. You
Rude.
still have like 4 demons to kill, and you're trying to worry about your
You're-
other vamps.
You're worried about the one human?
Yeah. I said vamps, and she's a human. You're right. What threat does she pose? But she ends up doing it anyway, and like Rain pulls the demon off of her after
Mhm.
she's downed it. And then she realizes that they all fell when they got the head honcho.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 of the 7 in their room survived, and their group like won the thing.
Yeah.
Won the trial.
Yeah, and as they're leaving, Rain like yells over to Mish to tell her what to do. He's like, hey, by the way, go
That's
after
when
the one with the thing.
Had fire. She was wielding fire, and she's like, wait, that's not a gift from like Nyaxia from the vampires. That's from like, what was the other one?
It's a great question. I feel like they talk about it again.
Is the fire magic was the domain of Atroxus, the sun god. So it was,
Poppy.
yeah.
An entirely different god. Atroxus?
Yeah.
It sounds right. I feel like that's how I'd say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, from the sun god, it's out of place. It doesn't normally get like given to vampires. So
Mhm.
Araya's like, what's that about? That's
Mhm.
suspicious. But they end up going back to the Moon Palace. Araya goes to the greenhouse, trying to stop the bleeding of all of her many wounds now. She just got
Yeah.
a ton and very little poison. Like she can only heal one of them. And this is not good. One trial in, and you're just like on the brink of bleeding out. But then who shows up? Did you have something?
No.
Oh.
I'm very lost in my notes.
We're on chapter 11 from
Okay.
my notes, if that's helpful.
That is very helpful.
Great.
Thank you.
But yeah, she's in the greenhouse trying to heal and bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, and Vincent comes in.
Not Vincent.
Not Vincent. Rain. Sorry.
Where'd Vincent come from?
Well, I read his name because she still has some potion left from Vincent.
Yeah.
Healing potion.
But very little.
Yeah, she's like, it'll only heal one of my wounds.
One of my many.
One of my many.
Yeah. Rain comes and he proposes that they ally up.
And doesn't he have some healing potion? He's like, if you ally with me, I'll give this to you.
Yeah. Dangles it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's taunting her. He's like, if you want it, though, you have to be my ally.
You're gonna die without this bitch.
Sucks to suck. But of course, she has no trust in anybody.
Of course.
And he's like, dude, your scent is everywhere. You're stanky. You're bleeding right now. You're going to rile up all the other vampires. Like, you really should consider this. And she does not take him up. And he's like, well, if you change your mind, come up to the East Tower.
Mhm.
Me and my buddy Mish are hanging out. And instead, she goes to meet Vincent. He never ends up coming. And so she's expending all of her energy, like going back and forth between their meeting spot and the castle, bleeding the whole time, and then gets attacked on the way back to the greenhouse.
Mhm.
Obviously.
No, you're literally bleeding out of your thigh, your side, your face. Like,
Yeah. You'd think that'd be obvious. Don't walk into a group of hungry vamps smelling like that. But yeah, she is on her way back in and gets attacked. She's unable to like fully kill him.
Yeah, she stabs him in the chest, but like can't go deep enough.
Yeah.
To hit his heart,
Get
I
him?
guess.
Yeah. She's been trained how to get the hearts, and she's like, that's not enough. But I literally can't anymore. I'm so weak
Yeah.
and like messed up. So she starts running away. Goes to Rain. I almost said Ryan. That's fitting for a fantasy novel.
Ryan.
But she gets up to the East Tower and blacks out.
Yeah.
So
Just like passes out outside his door.
yeah, after having bled all of her blood.
Yeah.
And then she flashes to another interlude. I like that these random like flashbacks are sprinkled in here and there.
I do too. I feel like it's like giving us a little bit of the backstory, and it's nice to have it sprinkled in and not like just all of a sudden. I like it.
Yeah. Yep. And this one is about a memory that Araya has of like asking Vincent about her family
Yeah.
and how he found her in Rashan territory. So this is when we learn she wants to turn to be able to get revenge. I guess we jumped the gun, but that's that interlude. Done and done. But then she wakes up in this lavish, lush apartment
Yep.
with Rain and Mish.
Brain's laughing at something.
Is he?
Yeah. The very first sentence of this chapter I have marked. The laugh was low and deep, rough and smooth at the same time, quiet and yet it commanded the room. I
Okay.
just liked that quote.
What are you chuckling at, Rain?
Mhm.
It's like, oh. She's trying to wake up. And Misha's like giddy. She's happy to see her. And it sort of reminds Araya of Alana. Like Misha's attitude. She seems very unvampire like. Because she talks about how they're all like stoic and don't show their emotions and stuff, but Misha's like everywhere.
Yeah, this little bubbly thing that's just like bouncing off the walls at all the times.
Yeah.
She's cute. I love her.
She is cute. I know. Misha's cool. And then they freaking gift, I put this in quotation marks, Araya the head of the vampire.
Oh my God. I was like, what is happening here? I have a you. Oh, do you?
Do you? That's
I want.
what a nice gift. Thanks so much. I don't know what they expected her reaction to be, but it was the one that attacked her. He was at the last leg of his blood curse anyway. They mentioned that. So this house of house of blood curse. He was like getting ravenous. He was about to become a demon.
Yeah.
Or close to.
Probably good they chopped his head off.
Probably. You don't need any of those in the house. Come on. Later, while they're eating, Mish talks about how her flame magic is from Pantheon. So which one? I mean, because the god the sun was the Atraxis guy. There's too many gods.
That's just where he ruled, I guess.
Pantheon is a place. That makes sense. I'm like, who is it? And there's like 13 gods, 12 deities of Pantheon. They don't let the vampires have their magic.
Vampires?
Vaporizers. I don't know what I was going for, but just go with it.
Okay.
And Misha's like, it just takes the right talents. She's like, I'm real talented. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We don't need to explain much further than that. But then Angelica comes.
I do not like her.
Yeah, she's angry. Like, Rain, like, what the did you do? Why did you kill him?
He's one of mine. And they start just fighting. They're just beating each other up.
Yeah.
Sitting there like twiddling her thumbs, like like a normal occurrence to just have them go at each other.
To have these two equally powerful, crazy vamps going to town.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like either of them are fully committed.
Yeah, no.
They're just
They're like
like
half-heartedly
wrestling.
wrestling.
Oh, and then once they were like had said that I don't remember the guy's name that they killed, but that he had attacked Araya like in the daylight in the greenhouse, she was like, oh, like he was that bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, kinda-
Copy. Yeah, I feel like he tells her about the curse, and she's like, "Oh man," and she
Yeah.
seems precariously close. I'm just saying. I don't know about this Angelica lady, but as she's leaving, she basically promises to kill her.
Kill Araya.
Yeah.
She's like, I'd rather kill her in the trials anyways.
Not waste any more of my time.
Yeah.
It's not worth it right now, but just you wait. And then after all that's said and done, Araya finally meets up with Vincent again,
Mm-hmm.
and
And she
he's
tells him about allying with
Rain.
Rain and Mish. He's like, you're dumb.
Yeah. Why are you allying with a Rishon? Rishon?
Well, and I think at this point is when she started to realize that like something was going on with Vincent, like because he was distracted and he seemed
Mhm.
anxious. He had missed meeting her a couple of times, so she's like, okay, he wouldn't miss this. Like, there's obviously something going on with him.
Yeah, he's a little off kilter. I feel like he talks, or she talks kind of about how he's more king than dad and is very aloof, kind of.
Yeah.
But won't say anything to her. Won't tell her anything. He does give her more potion, though. And she's like, listen, I had no choice. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I am a tiny human in a palace full of vampires. I don't know what you expected.
I had to ally with someone.
Yeah. Well,
Did you
and one of the
like bleed to death? Like I had no choice. I had to go up
Yeah.
there, potion. You didn't
Yeah.
give me. I needed more. Like
yeah, I even crawled to you while I was bleeding out.
And you didn't show up. You
It's
butt.
your fault, Vincent. Dang it.
if
We
you were
already-
there, it's been an issue.
Exactly. But he's all butthurt about it. When she gets back, Rain's like standing by a window.
All dark and mysterious in the sun.
Yeah, brooding.
Yeah. And she's like, doesn't that hurt? He's like, not enough or something like that.
Not much yet or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's not so bad yet.
Not too
like,
bad.
that's weird, dude. I wonder what that's about. Interesting. And then he's like, training begins tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So they start training, guys. They start training. And Rain's mad at Araya.
Yeah.
He's angry. He's like, you have no idea how to be a part of a team.
I can't even get close enough to you to like attempt to like be training.
Yeah.
Like, you like learn how to trust me.
Yeah.
And she's just like, nah, stay away from me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she's been taught her whole life by Vincent that like everybody wants to eat you. So
Yeah, everybody's out to get you. You're not safe with anybody. They're all liars.
yeah. I mean, but it also makes sense, right? Like you already agreed to ally with them.
Yeah.
That's done. So like do the rest of the stuff that comes with it. I don't know. You're all fighting.
This chapter when it was like she would not let him even attempt to train with her because she was just like, no, you're just gonna get me. I'm like, you already allied with him. You can't, he doesn't want to kill you outside of the trials. You guys got to make it through the next trial as a team
Yeah.
or the next like two ahead or whatever because they're
Yeah.
and then after
And then
that
you can stop trusting him.
yeah, like come
Yeah.
on, you need it, man.
Come on.
Come on.
And you can't be effective if you're all doing different crap.
Yeah.
It's not an
Gotta work
ally
together.
alliance allyship. Anyways, he then starts getting like he's kind of being a butt
Yeah.
at this point. He starts crowding her. He's like, "Oh, is this close enough? Is this too close?" Like, why is that your option here, Rain? Clearly, she has like hard boundaries from something. You know, I feel like she's
Mhm.
got some underlying trauma.
Yeah, for sure.
picking and picking and picking and picking. What do you think's gonna happen when you just keep coming at somebody?
That's
Well,
right.
She's gonna blow up.
She explodes.
She literally says, "Back the fuck up," and just bursts into magic.
Yeah, which I guess before all of this we didn't really talk about. She has tried magic and it's like fails her most of the time.
Yeah.
But also humans can have magic.
See, I feel like that was just kind of like tossed in there.
Yeah.
Like entire time, all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, I have like a little sprinkle of magic at the tips of my fingers." Like, wait,
Excuse me?
what?
Excuse me, how?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it said the vampires are gifting them to
Right.
not the vampires, the goddesses
Are gifting the powers
to the
to
vampires.
the vampires. Yeah.
She's not a freaking vampire. What's the rules here?
I don't know.
Somebody tell me. Because the
When
book
did-
sure didn't.
Say something about her having it before she was even in the trials too.
I think very briefly she talked about having tried magic and it wasn't working out.
I don't
Like
remember.
Vincent tried to train her in magic too, and she couldn't really summon anything. I don't know. But nonetheless, that's a weird kernel of
Yeah.
information.
Very strange.
But she throws him out a freaking window. She says, absolutely not, sir. Sends him flying through a window. And when he returns, rightfully so, he's pissed.
Yeah, he flies back up.
I would be angry too.
Yeah.
I
I'd
don't
be-
want to be flung out a window by crazy magic.
Mhm.
It's like a blue-white light magic, so we don't really know what that's about.
He says, I have a little quote, tiny quote I want to read.
Great.
He comes back and says, "You are being a shit about trusting me, and yet you've been hiding that."
I love that. He's like, wait. Where did this come from?
Something isn't adding up here. And she doesn't want to tell him that she has no idea, like
Yeah.
how that happened.
She has
She's
no idea.
zero clue.
She's like, I don't think I could do that again, even if I wanted to.
I'm not sure where it came from, big man. She doesn't want to talk about that because that like shows weakness. It reveals more about her than she
Yeah.
wants, perhaps. But they argue about it and then go separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves, or she does. I don't know. And she's stressed.
Yeah.
She goes to meet Vincent, but he doesn't come.
Mhm.
This guy keeps failing at her left and right. Because she wants to ask him about the magic and like talk about that situation.
Yeah, I think she said like she keeps going night after night and he shows up less than half of the time, but even when he does show up, he's super distracted and
Yeah.
not all there.
By whatever the heck is going on in the real
Yeah,
world.
that he won't tell her.
Yeah.
But
Vincent is sus. We don't know about this guy. But she's got the urge to start hunting vampires.
mm-hmm.
She's like, man, normally when I'm stressed, I go
Just
hunt.
go stab.
Go take out lurky vampires in the human slums. And then runs into a strange man. Who is this guy, y'all? He's like by the water and gives her cigarillos.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, and he had said, she was like, said something about paying him, and he goes, "Oh, like, don't bother, like, you're the reason why I have the money to have these," or something like that, because he had like bet on
He
her,
bet on her in the
to win.
first. Yeah.
like, I like the underdog or something like that.
Yeah.
Who's this weird, mysterious guy?
I know.
I feel like he's got to come back again, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
Or-
just gonna say.
For sure.
Or it's just some rando. He means nothing to the story. They just wanted her to smoke cigarettes. He gives her the whole box and she heads out back to the apartment. Misha's super happy to see her back. She's like, you
Mhm.
came back. And Ryan starts asking her why she's with Rain. She's like, what's this situation? And Misha's like, ew, I'm not with him.
Yeah.
She's like, well, that's not what I meant, obviously. But I guess they're best buds.
Yeah. They are. And it seems like they have been for a while.
Yeah, she talks about him being loyal and loving. Like for a
Mhm.
vampire, he knows something about love. And he's a good cook.
Trustworthy, apparently.
Apparently. Not Raya seems to disagree, but
I mean, I don't blame her.
yeah, I don't know if I'd trust a vampire, regardless of their actions. But then they talk a little bit about the next trial.
Mm-hmm.
Misha's nervous because it could be anything.
Could be anything.
These trials are based off of Nyaxia's journey
yeah.
or something. And the next one is like her something. I'm glad I know all the details.
Yeah.
You don't need them. And then Rain gets back and he's drunk.
Wasted pants.
But he does, like, in his drunken state, admit the fight that was his fault to Mish. Mish asks him about it. Asks him. And then, guys, trial number 2. The waning moon.
Yes.
It was wild to me.
Yeah.
It gave me Goblet of Fire vibes with like
Yeah.
the changing maze, and I was like, oh, like I'm a Harry Potter girl through and through.
Same.
I was like, oh,
Yes.
The first thing I thought of at the beginning of this, like when she first got to the Moon Palace and they talked about how it moved and changed. The first thing I thought about was the staircases in Harry Potter.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So they just made a vampire Harry Potter. Okay, Carissa Broadbent, I see
Vampire
you.
Harry Potter Hunger Games.
A little bit of everything. All of what's done well. But yeah, this trial's wild. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a maze, and I guess it's meant to like emulate Nyaxia's journey to the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
Part of her story was like going to find some guy, the underworld guy. His name starts with an A. Articus or something.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Sure, we could say it's that.
Alaris.
Okay.
No.
Oh, it is Alaris. Yeah, you're right. I was just making stuff up. Anyways.
I mean, you were pretty close.
Yeah.
Articus. Alaris.
I had most of the letters. But she arrived when she's in there. She finds freaking Ibrahim.
Mm-hmm.
I was so sad that that's the first person you have to cross, and then you have to like
I know.
ask him. Like, come on.
I know.
Of all of the
There's,
freaking
what is it? Like a button basically that they have to stand on for the door to raise. So obviously one person has to be on that for the other person to go. So it's like, now you gotta be mean to him so that you can like make it on it. You can get through.
Yeah, and she basically explains it like the person that stays on the button or whatever is basically dead weight because there's no way to get through without someone being there.
Yeah. And neither of them is just gonna be like, yeah, I'll stand on it.
Yeah. Can't you just find a big rock? Come on.
There's probably no rocks. I'm sure this maze thought of that. The maze.
I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, they like start battling or something. Start beating each other up.
Yeah, and she's like, he's surprisingly strong for being, I don't know,
bludgeoned, crippled,
I guess, by his parents.
His knees are all messed up, his legs. But yeah, they're going at it. They fight. And Araya downs him with her poison blades. He has star magic.
Oh, he has magic. That's why he's so powerful.
Y'all, what do you imagine star magic?
First blow, I guess, by throwing star magic at her. And so she's like, okay, game on. Now I'll be fine with like beating you to get to the next section.
Yeah. I just threw you, dude.
Yeah. I just imagine him whipping out like a ninja star.
I saw it. Just like, throws it up.
He's got a pocket full of stars. I don't know. But they're like glowing yellow, you know?
Yeah.
Glowing yellow ninja stars.
So they're ninja stars covered in like glow stick goo.
That's gotta be it. That's magical.
Yeah.
The experience. But then, you know, she downs him. She's getting ready to kill him. And the freaking walls start crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
But she realizes they're not falling.
No, they're just moving.
They're moving. More moving.
Wild. So she runs. Ibrahim can't run anymore because she fucked him up.
Yeah, he's down.
But she
out of commission.
So she leaves him behind.
Yeah. And they're going. She's running through the maze, encounters Coretta, which her magic is like mind magic. And Araya talks about having to like fight her mind magic and use it against her.
Yeah, like she let her believe that she had like full control over Araya's body and mind and stuff, and then at the last minute she like pounced up and
Yeah,
took.
that's crazy magic.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Are you a Daimati? Something similar. She uses against her, gets away, continues, and ends up in a field of poppies, which apparently are the flower of the dead. And guys, come on. There's just a bunch of humans dressed in white.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
And she comes across a little girl.
Yeah.
There
This
weren't
little baby
like
girl.
they were there as like a distraction for obviously it wasn't going to distract her because okay, it did because she saw the little girl. She's like, oh, that's me. But as far as like the bloodlusting, the vampires are like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, there's people everywhere.
Yeah, they're trying to get a meal. And she's like, well, I gotta save them. I'm like, right, you don't have time for this.
Yeah, really.
But also,
Come on.
the little girl, I get it.
Yeah. And I think she very much so like sees herself in that little girl. And so it's
Especially
a little
she
more
was-
close to home, you know?
Sitting next to a mutilated body that I think was like her mom, maybe.
Yeah, and she's like crying. Yeah. It's terrible.
Horrible. I feel like she also was like, man, I didn't know or can't remember seeing humans this small. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't realize they could be this little.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's terrible.
But she decides to take her. She's like, I'm bringing her with me. And all these humans are dressed in white, portraying the dead in the underworld. Which, she has questions like, who brought them here? What the heck? But then she gets attacked by a bloodborne man, and Rain comes and saves the day.
Good old Rain.
Good old Rain. Don't know where he was at, but he's like, got you. Gets him.
Yep.
And they're nearing the end. They start moving forward still. He's kind of confused about the girl, I think, but doesn't really say anything about it. I'm sure he's like, the heck?
Well, I think he tells her, like, put her down. What are you doing? We don't have time. And she's like, no. And he's like, all right, well, I guess let's go.
All right. Yeah, I don't remember their interaction there, but they're getting towards the end and Angelica shows up. This is the blood lady, blood house, cursed lady, who's angry about the death of her comrade. I don't know if it was a brother or what, but she's pissed.
Yeah.
And I just wrote, Rain saves her again.
Yeah, Angelica like hits her with magic. And Araya describes the pain as acidic, all-consuming, like I was being boiled from the inside out. Hefty no thanks.
Hefty no thanks. Yeah, blood magic is terrible.
Yeah, I would not want to encounter that ever for any reason.
Yeah, she wonders about the little girl, like how she's going to possibly survive this blood magic.
Yeah.
But once they take down Angelica, they end up in the center at the end. She sees Vincent in the stands, like horrified about what had just happened.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Araya like sacrifices herself to save the little girl and ends up getting stabbed in the side or something. Because she lets her guard down.
With Angelica.
Yeah.
I think she like rolls the little girl off of her and takes the blow.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they're in the center, she like starts passing out. She tells Rain like, don't let them take her. And he says he won't.
And he says he won't. And then she passes out.
She's just out here passing out all over the place.
All the time. Too much blood.
You got stuff to do, girl.
She has got to get it together.
Yeah, quit getting stabbed. I don't know.
Come on.
It's definitely not at all a part of the game. And then when she wakes up, I guess the blood magic from Angelica like had her out for a few days. She asks Mish about the girl, and she has no idea. So then, after being so angry, she goes to the freaking human slums again, guys, to murder vampires.
Was it like 4 in one night, her first night?
Yeah. She's like, I'm pissed. Taking it out on all of you. She kills a bunch of them. And she's just like very heartbroken for the girl and all the humans in the trial. And like, That's her outlet, I guess.
Yeah.
Hunting and taking out vamps.
Yep.
But then what?
Friggin' Rain.
Friggin' Rain.
Rain's been watching her. He's just like
Yeah,
creeping.
hiding in the shadows.
He's like, hey.
He just comes out and he's like, oh, and here I was thinking you were meeting with your daddy.
Ugh. I hate it. Hate it a lot. And she's like, what the heck? Apparently he followed her. What the heck? The things I say to my daughter just bleed into my everyday conversations. But yeah, he's been following her, I guess, the whole time. Just watching her take down these vamps. But he's like, I think you're doing a public service. That's a good thing. Which is confusing to her because she talks about how
she's like, you're a vampire. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're supposed to like be pissed that I'm
And-
doing this.
yeah, most vampires like don't really care if vampires kill vampires,
Mhm.
but for humans to kill vampires, blasphemous.
Yeah, and then he takes her to a pub.
Well, no,
No?
she asked about the girl.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I forgot about that.
She
Takes her across the city.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I was jumping ahead.
Jeez,
I know.
to like a orphanage.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it because it
That's the
sounded like
vibes.
little kids, and then she was just kind of like hanging out in the middle, all sad, but alive.
Alive is better than otherwise. So,
Mhm.
yeah, he said he didn't know where the family was and that they would be able to help.
Try to find him.
Whereas, like, she doesn't have family. And he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, probably not. But at least she's alive. That has to do something.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Rain was made or like turned.
Yeah.
He's not always been a vampire.
Yeah.
And that's what he likes to stand in the sun.
He misses it.
the sun.
Poor Rain. He misses the sun. He's also like more roguish and rough looking.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, man, vampires are normally pristine, and this guy's kind of worn.
Rugged.
Yeah, he looks a little more rough than most vamps.
Yeah.
And he tells her that all the stuff that she's doing with the vampires in the slums is like admirable,
Mm-hmm.
even if Vincent doesn't know. And she's like, has it down to the day. She's been out here slaying vamps for 6 years, 2 months, and 14 days.
14.
I
Why couldn't you say 2 weeks?
I like that he calls her Viper. I just thought that was funny because he's like easy Viper when Vincent calls her like little serpent. I thought that was weird.
Yeah. So snakes all around. But a viper,
Happening.
that's good. It's related. Does she just give snake energy?
She's very slithery.
She's like, hey, sup. Draws out her S's.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. But I love it. Now I'm gonna imagine that every time she talks.
I don't think Rain believes that Vincent doesn't know about her little side gig that she does. Because he's like, does Vincent know? She's like, no. Like, why would he know? Proof I was more than Vincent's obedient pet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, snaps. She like wants to tell him so she can show him that she's more than what people think. And then she's like ogling at him a little. I think she likes him. She's like, oh, he's kind of cute.
Yeah. She focuses on little details of him, and I'm like, ooh, there's something brewing.
There sure is.
Oh, snippity snap.
Romanticy, perhaps. This is on page 164, 165. I have a quote real quick. She's looking at him, and it says, he pushed the wayward strands of his hair away from his face, the smile still clinging to his lips, and moonlight outlining the angles of his profile. The sudden, overwhelming realization hit me that he was actually very handsome. I was always surrounded by beautiful people and heard long ago the hard way how important it was to numb myself to that. But in this moment, just for a split second, Rain's beauty struck me like a blow. So unexpected and staggering, my breath caught in my throat. He wasn't the refined elegance of vampires, perfect cheekbones and perfect lips and perfect glittering eyes. No, it was a rougher, more lived in, more alive. Suddenly, all those features that had seemed like so much that carried the marks of a life, unlike vampires' perfections that sanded them away, were magnificently captivating. Ooh, girl.
Oh, snap.
He's
She's-
finally like, wait a second, you're kind of good looking.
Mhm.
Do you want to? I want to look at you more now that I know this. And then they talk about training in the slums instead of,
Yeah, Rain's like, I don't want to train in the apartment anymore. Let's train here.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
noticed more about her fighting style that night than he has in their like weeks of training.
Yeah.
From stalking her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't even know he was there. He's just like, wow. He sees that she can, in fact, hunt and stuff.
Mhm.
But another like day passes, and Raya finally sees Vincent and confronts him about the human girl. She's like, "What the heck's all that about, dude? I bet, you have some sway in all of this. Humans should be protected, like they're in the protected part of our land or whatever." And she's really upset. And I have the other quote, but it's kind of long. I don't know if y'all want to hear it or not.
Always.
Always.
I always want to hear quotes.
I'll try to make it fast. It's on 169. It's essentially his response to her being like, they should be protected. You act like human lives aren't worth anything. And he says, all of our lives are cheap, Araya, human, vampire, even those of the gods. He said this somewhat pityingly, as if he was surprised to have to explain something so obvious. It was true. Death was everywhere in the House of Night. Parents killed their children. Children killed their parents. Lovers took each other's lives in the night, gone too far in the throes of passion. Even the stories of our gods were vicious, lesser deities frequently murdering for little more than sport. The Nightborn forged their people and their blades from steel, hard and cold and unforgiving. This was life. Maybe it was a sign that something was wrong with me that I struggled to accept it, struggled to hammer myself into that blade. Perhaps it was because I was neither human nor vampire, and because something standing on that boundary made it so clear how steep the differences were. And I'm like, maybe there's something wrong with me for not accepting that. I'm like, girl, you have your priorities or have been taught wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, human lives are worth something. She's not just out here blindly accepting it. But that just shows and paints a picture of like where Vincent stands with
Oh yeah, for sure.
anything outside of his like Nightborn
Yeah.
crap. And after that, it kind of makes her mad. So, oh, she asked him about her magic too.
Yeah.
And he's like, we suspected that you
Mhm.
had something, but won't tell her any more than that.
Yeah, and he says something about how she offered her blood to Nyaxia when she entered the trials.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, is that why she now can wield the magic?
I don't
Where
know.
she couldn't before? Because she's offered her blood up now? I don't know.
Maybe that's why it's come in an explosion.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I feel like she had sparks before. So I don't know. Either way. Who knows? Who knows where it comes from? And then she gets back to see Rain again against the window.
Oh, baby.
And it's like, hey, what are you doing? But he won't talk to her about it. But the freaking half moon trial's tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a brief interlude. What?
She tells him not to burn himself so bad that he can't compete in the trial because he's standing in the sun.
Yeah, we don't
being
want you to be useless.
mysterious and
Yeah. Don't stand too long. There's a small interlude that talks about Araya's involvement with a young vampire when she was 16.
Yeah, what the what is happening?
And they don't tell much about it.
No.
But I feel like it's brought up or like alluded to later on. Like she has trauma from this interaction.
And it
Like
was some that was young, just a few years older than her, and he had been turned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But something traumatic went down there.
Yeah.
It's brought up a couple times later. I feel like she has flashbacks to this moment. And hasn't she also mentioned like scars that she has on her neck?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like from canines, perhaps?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
I have a little quote that said, "The little serpent was so very lonely. She slithered right into those lovely, elegant fingers. She did not even see the claws." So,
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, girl. I wrote that one down too because I was like, poor serpent sliding into claws. Can't be good. Slithering. Yeah, nice little interlude that has us all questioning.
Yeah.
Poor little Araya at 16. But then what they go and start training in the slums.
Yeah, they've been training for some days.
Mm-hmm. And they're not very good.
Yeah.
At first, I feel like there's a section where she's like, day 1, we sucked. Day 2.
She says 5 nights in, and I realized we'd gone an entire trip without either of us accidentally or intentionally hitting the other. 6 nights, and I realized we hadn't even stepped on the other's feet all day. 7 nights, and we actually managed to compliment each other, dismantling one of our targets with seamless efficiency.
Yeah.
We'd stopped and stared at each other afterward, wide-eyed, like we had both witnessed a miracle and didn't quite want to jeopardize it by acknowledging it out loud.
It's cute. They're starting to learn each other.
Yeah.
A little better. Even if they were beating the crap out of each other before accidentally. And she starts to understand his technique, which, guys, that sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like sprinkling in magic kind of slyly into his fighting style so it's not showy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like hides it.
Yeah. What's that about? Rain?
yeah, she straight up asks him if she wants people to think that he's a brute.
Which makes him laugh. He's like, brute? The heck? But that does seem to be his like MO. He wants people to think he's also playing the game of letting people underestimate him then,
Mhm.
huh?
Mm-hmm. Seems to be a theme.
He also lets on that he knows that she doesn't know anything about magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I knew it. I've known.
Look, you're many things, princess, but a good actress is not one of them. I really hate the nickname princess, though.
I know. He keeps calling her princess.
Not a fan.
Little princess. I don't know why I said it that way, but
Little princess.
maybe that's how he says it. But then Araya goes to train with Mish
Uh-huh.
about
Trying to
magic.
practice magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's struggling.
She's bad.
It's not her strong suit. And Misha's like, well, it's just in you. You'll
Mhm.
find it. Like, you'll get there. And then she sees Vincent less often, but when she does, he's very distant still.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 3 of their little alliance train together. They start figuring it out, like how they're going to function as a unit. And Araya likes it. As much as she doesn't want to admit, she's into it.
She is.
She's like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Having buds.
And Mish like admires how Rain and Araya work together.
Mish absolutely wants them to fall in love.
Absolutely. Same.
It's like, how can I make this happen?
I see something a brewing here. But Araya and Rain go back to the slums again. And this, y'all, is when the pub happens. It seems like the slums are cleared out. Like maybe they've made a big enough impression that vampires are not
Yeah, they're
out
not
and
being
about
wily anymore.
trying to hunt. So they only get 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, dang, now what?
What?
Shoot.
Where'd all the babies go?
Hello?
Dang.
Shoot, dang. And he's like, yeah, let's go to a pub. He all but drags her.
Yeah.
Because she absolutely does not want to.
Yeah. She is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Much like me going into public.
That's fair.
Yeah.
especially if she hasn't spent a lot of time around humans.
Yeah.
I'd be uncomfortable too.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like so Rain thinks that she's uncomfortable because it's like him being a vampire and full of a room full of humans, which
Yeah.
I think it's more so her being in a room full of humans because she's like, what am I? I'm not a vampire. I'm not fully a human. I don't know how to be human. Like,
Yeah.
they're
How do
gonna know. You're gonna know.
No one will know. They're gonna know. Absolutely. And she hasn't spent a lot of time around humans outside of like when she was real little. She probably doesn't remember any of that.
Yeah.
But he does like pick on her a little bit about the self-control thing. But he's like, "You're scared of humans, aren't you?" She's like, "No, no, never." But he pulls her in anyways, and she's like struck by how different a human pub is from vampires. There's a little bitty quote.
Little bitty baby.
It might be bigger than little bitty, I don't know. It's on page 187.
Look at that cat tail.
Kitty!
The window's cracked open, and so she's like, "Oh, I can smell all the smells out there."
Interesting. Yeah, I am surprised there's not an animal in here right now. I have 2 cats and 3 dogs, so it's a freaking zoo.
We just have one of each, but we're
That's
about to
probably better. About to have 2 dogs?
yeah, we're adopting another lab. It's a friend's dog,
Oh, that's exciting.
so we're gonna adopt him.
I love that. Yes, new dog. I could have less though, that's for sure.
Same.
Anyways, on page 187, she's struck by how wildly different the human place is, and she says it was so wildly different than anywhere I'd been before. I had spent a little time in vampire pubs in the inner city, briefly and out of nothing more than stupid teenage curiosity. They were plenty grimy and depraved, but everyone was so much more restrained, even in the throes of debauchery. Vampires behaved as if every emotion, every impulse took a bit longer to reach the surface of their skin. But humans laid it bare. They were loud and expressive and unapologetic. This struck me strange and confusing. My humanness had been the reason why I'd spent a lifetime dimming myself. For these people, it was the reason why they burned brighter. Come on. Are we bright because we're humans?
I guess. Look at me.
I feel like she's got to accept that part of herself. She's been taken so far away from it that it's like foreign.
Yeah. She's real impressed with how human Rain acts when they go in.
Oh yes, he walked into the pub. It was like a completely different person, and he's
Yeah.
like, Max got a little bit of a swagger going on.
Yeah.
It's right in.
I know. I imagined it and I loved. He's like kind of, I don't know, the vibe he came in with.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm hot as shit and I know it, but also human.
Yeah.
So eat that.
He's also weirdly obsessed with having horrible beer. Like, that's all he wants is a bad beer.
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, this place has the worst beer in town. Let's go. Sounds delicious.
yum.
And they get to chatting
Mm-hmm.
over terrible beer. Find out that Mish was also turned, which makes a lot of sense
Mm-hmm.
because she acts a lot like a human. Rain's been a vampire for 200 years.
Yeah.
Dang, dude. No thanks.
And this is when he tells her he misses the sun.
Yeah, yeah. And she asks him why he entered the Kajari.
Mish,
Yeah,
we learned that was
turned.
Mish was turned.
Yeah,
Yep. And that she is the reason that they entered into the Kajari.
yeah.
Like she manipulated him into entering because she knew that he wouldn't enter or he wouldn't let her enter by herself.
And she's like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going. And he's like, well, obviously, I'm not going to let you do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Has to go to protect her more than anything. He does say he has like people counting on him. Oh, I lost my AirPod. People counting on him and he wants to do something for them or whatever.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought. But yeah, they have that encounter. She sort of talks about how she doesn't really relate to the human life and is super dedicated to the house at night. And has a memory of Alana telling her to like get the heck out of there. And
Yeah, she's like, it had never even occurred to me to like leave Vincent and the Nightborn
yeah.
palace or whatever.
She never even thought about another option.
Yeah.
And Rain sort of questions Vincent's intentions at this point, as we all have been. Come on. What's this guy really up to? And then all of a sudden an explosion goes off.
Oh, the explosion.
The explosion! This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is an intense part. And when they run outside, they see that it is at the Moon Palace.
The Moon Palace.
One of the like towers has been exploded or attacked. One of the spires or whatever. And they know that Misha's in there, so they're like, we gotta get the heck out of here.
Yeah. So they go. Vincent flies them.
Rain flies them, yeah.
Why do I keep doing that?
Vincent's not here. He flies them back and he's in a hurry, but he's holding on to her tight.
Yeah.
And they find Misha on the ground.
Yeah. She's not in good shape.
Surrounded by demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nightfire, which sounds terrible.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It like withers flesh from the inside out.
Yeah.
That's really nice and
Yeah.
pleasant.
I have a tiny quote I want to read
Okay.
about Nightfire.
Okay.
Nightfire didn't produce heat exactly so much as it withered flesh from the inside out. It wasn't hot like flames, but it wasn't cold either. It simply devoured more quickly and more unforgivingly than fire ever did. That's all.
Great. Yeah.
Sounds spooky.
Yeah, Nightfire is not it, you know?
Yeah.
No thanks. But Rain uses Asteris and wipes out 2 of the 3 demons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Could you
Listen,
settle down?
my hair was inside my ear and it pulled out my AirPod. Rude. And then he flies Misha out. Rain does.
Mm-hmm.
And Araya is like surrounded by the Nightfire. And this is wild, y'all. She's surrounded.
Yeah.
She hears a big bang,
Mm-hmm.
but then like starts using the Nightfire magic.
Yeah.
What goes down there? I feel like it accepts her or like calls to her or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like she touches the ground and there's a whole moment and she somehow uses the magic. Maybe because she's a part of the Nightborn house.
Maybe.
But also you're just a measly human. What the heck?
I don't know. She says that like the Nightfire was energy, so I wonder if it's I don't know.
It's just powering her up.
Yeah.
Filling
It's
her
like fueling her.
bar. Yeah.
I don't
know. But when Rain finally comes back for her, she has wiped out 4 demons. And as they're flying out, they like see a Vincent and his army of vampires. And she's like, oh man, this was not just an attack, like
Yeah.
war.
Yeah.
War is yeah. Something's going down. This is not gonna be good. War is a brewing. It takes a day to put the fire out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole ordeal. And they talk about how the ones that were super injured, like put in a plea to be withdrawn
Mm-hmm.
from the Kajari.
Yeah. So they do that for Mish, obviously.
Obviously, but they put it into Nyaxia, which again, Nyaxia, is that even a thing?
Well.
Yeah, I know. I know. Withdraw request. And Vincent like broadcasts his voice and makes a freaking speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially like, y'all don't know what you started. Like, we're gonna bring death upon you. And you made a mistake, you freaking Rashan rebels. And I imagine he projects his voice like Dumbledore with his wand.
Same. That's exactly what I pictured.
There's all these dudes out, King of Highburn.
Yeah, he's basically like, I hope it was worth it. Like, we will not spare any of you, not even when you beg for death. Do you wish to unseat me? And
Yeah.
I just don't like this man, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't either.
I get bad vibes.
Really bad vibes. And I have from the very beginning.
Yeah. He seems slimy.
Yeah.
Something's up with him.
For sure.
So he makes this threat publicly. He's like, we're coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the alliance, the trio, the trifecta has a new room. Misha's not okay.
No,
She's alive,
in rough shape.
but dang, she's messed up.
Yeah.
And freaking
Jasmine.
Jasmine?
I don't know.
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Jessie.
Yep. Jessie.
She comes up to like summon Rain.
Yeah. Because Vincent wants to talk to him.
Yeah. Summon Rain and all of the Rashawn, all the other Rashawn and Bloodborne vamps. They're all being summoned to be questioned. And Jasmine says they'll be back for the trial, but like who knows what's gonna go down for them once they're taken. And then we learn that the minister has denied freaking Misha's withdraw.
Yeah.
Has
well,
nothing
Nyaxia, supposedly.
on what?
On her deathbed.
Yeah.
She's like not able to even open her eyes at this point.
You expect her to compete in trials that murder half the people every time we're in them? Like, what do you mean? And of course, Rain's angry. Everyone's angry. And so Araya like convinces Rain to go with them. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, she's like, I'll take care of Mish.
Yeah.
You go deal with this and don't fight them because they're just going to mess you up if you do.
Which, yeah, they'll do it either way.
Yeah.
But before they leave, Jasmine also like warns Araya about Rain. Like, don't trust him. He's a Rashawn. He could do something crazy.
He's pretty, but he's still a Rashawn.
He might be so handsome, but don't trust him. And so she's left with Mish, and she like starts investigating Mish. She's covered in a bunch of burns. And Mish keeps saying like I kept calling him and he didn't answer. It's very like cryptic.
Yeah, I was like, who are you calling?
Yeah. Yeah. And Araya's like, Rain, no, he's here.
He's gonna come back. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm like, clearly, Araya, she's not talking about Rain. But she gives her the last of her healing potion and freaking
Yeah. Freaking She goes to see Vincent.
Yeah.
Again.
Stressed again.
Of course. Distracted.
Yeah. Being more kingly than dadly.
Yeah.
And he says that they've confirmed that the attack was from the Rashans, even though I don't know about all that. Because I know that before Rain left, he was like, it was not. Like, he was very confident.
Yeah, I believe him.
Yeah, me too. We like him better. And Vincent goes on to say they might be coming for his throne, and like this is his opportunity to eradicate the Rashan, basically.
Yeah.
She asks him about Misha's withdraw.
Yeah, she's like, can't you do something?
Yeah. And he's like, why don't you just kill her?
Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait till the trial.
This man. Oh man.
Rage.
Yeah, like fuck you, dude.
Straight up. The audacity. This guy. And she's like, tries to not react, you know.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to raise his suspicions. But she also then asks about Rain and sounds like he's been questioned or being questioned by Jasmine. And she's like, please don't break him.
Yeah, I need him.
Yeah, I need an
Especially
ally.
with me.
Yeah, please don't break him. I already am down one. And he's like, yeah, okay, I won't. It's fine. Everything's fine. Is it?
Settle down with your feet.
Oh, sorry, I'm kicking things. But then she goes, yo, the Nyaxia temple.
Yeah.
Dumb girl.
Dumb girl.
Yeah.
And this was like what's set in stone to me that Nyaxia is a hoax.
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely.
She goes in and she's like, any way you can convince Nyaxia? And I'm like, it's clearly just the freaking minister.
Yeah, she bribes him with her blood.
Yeah, she's like,
drink me.
And he's like drooling at the opportunity.
Yeah. He's disgusting.
Yeah.
The way that he's described.
Creepy old
man. Not happy about that.
She's like old but doesn't look old but looks old.
Like white eyes. Like
yeah. No part of that's fun.
I have a tiny quote about him. I just have to read it.
Tiny.
No, there were no wrinkles on his face, save for a couple of harsh lines at the corners of his eyes, but all of him just looked worn, everything too sharp and smooth all at once. His skin was papery thin, veins visible where it stretched tight over his jutting cheekbones. His tight lips, the lids of his dead white eyes. They say that vampires' blood gets darker as they age. The ministers must have been pure black.
Gross.
Ugh.
He's like a creature that's lived in a cave for a long time. Gollum. Exactly. When she gets back, okay, all that said and done, that icky occurrence.
Yeah.
Rain's back.
Yes.
Misha's still on about, he didn't come for me. And he comforts her and like magics her to sleep or something. He's
Mhm.
like, shh, 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 shh. Relax. He's not coming. And then he gestures for Uriah to follow him into the other room, and she sees that his back has been destroyed.
Destroyed. This was hard to read.
I know.
Made me sick to my stomach.
It's like very intentionally flayed,
Yeah.
basically, and it's real terrible. And she sees a lot of old and new scars.
I
Mhm.
thought when she was talking about the like in-depth detail about how he was flayed open,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say that his wings were gone. That they like cut him
I
off or
thought
something.
so too. Yeah.
Not the
Yeah.
wings.
But they did it intentionally because he refused to show his wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they were trying to like cut the wings out of him.
Oh my God.
Ugh.
So uncomfortable. Yeah, it definitely seems like they're trying to carve him out or something.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely.
It's real icky.
Terrible. But she starts sewing him up. And she's like hot and bothered by him a little bit.
I mean,
well,
same.
he is another hot fictional man with wings. Come on. Who's a little rugged, please.
Come on.
He tells her that they wanted to know if he knew anything about the attack, which obviously. And he tells her that, like, Rashawn, they're not even organized anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even a threat, really. And I'm like, I believe you way more than Vincent all up in arms.
Yeah.
About his throne. Ryan tells him about Misha's withdrawal being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you've had something to do with this. And she's like, oh, what you talking about? But then we find out that freaking Misha was a priestess before
Yeah,
she was turned.
Before, when she was a human.
For Atraxus,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the heck
In-
his name is.
Pochny?
Something like that.
I don't know how to say it.
And she was left to die, basically. But that's how she got her fire, was because she was praying to him, or like was his acolyte or whatever. And that's what she was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the hellfire, I don't remember what it's called. Hellfire? That's wrong.
Night
Fire.
Thanks, guys. I was so torn up about it. Anyways, that's what she was doing when they found her. She was like praying to Atraxus to save her, and he never did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rain notices her bandage, her wrist bandage. She avoids it.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to talk about her experience with good old Minnie.
It's just a little cut.
No
Don't
big
you fret.
deal. We don't need to talk about that dirty experience. Nasty. Yeah. So then she has some dark memories. I wrote this down because of the vamp she was with. Stop.
Sorry.
She like thinks about the minister, but also has dark memories about things that have happened. And I was like, is this about that guy? She sort of brings up like the violation the minister was reminding her of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then Mish leaves. And they are summoned for the trial, y'all.
They sure are. And that's where we freaking end.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of new pairings because all the dead people. And then they're
Yeah.
handed a new drink
Yeah.
that they've never seen before. That is real gross.
Yep.
And she's like, good luck.
Good
And then
luck.
ends.
And that's as far as we made it. We left you on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry, Danielle.
I was like, wait, good luck. Like, did you pass out? Like, what happened? Did you drink this? Is it poison?
Yeah, I apologize. That was a totally unintentional.
It was
choice.
very unintentional.
But I enjoyed the first half. I'm excited
I
about
am really excited to read the
second
second half.
half. Next episode, we're doing chapters 28 to the end. I don't know what the last chapter
29.
is. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I believe Danielle's joining us. Is that correct? Would you like to?
Take notes this time. I
Huh?
highlighted, so I'll take notes this time.
Oh,
I
that's
tagged
okay.
stuff, so I like kind of knew, but
That's okay. Yeah, either way, however you want to play it.
Yeah.
But you should follow Danielle on the things. If you want to tell like handles and what you're on.
yeah. TikTok is just my first and last name, so it's just Danielle Clayton, and then Bookstagram is Danielle Reads a Lot with periods in between.
Yes, I'm gonna have to go follow your Bookstagram.
Yeah.
I'll do that right after this. But yeah, next episode we'll do the second half.
Yeah.
There'll probably be, I don't know, some promo and stuff on TikTok. You can find us, Books and Crannies Podcast, anywhere.
Anywhere.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the good
All
things.
the podcast platforms.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it was fun.
Having me, it was so much fun, and I was so happy when I won your guys' 1K schmiv and got this book because I've been literally meaning to read it forever.
Yes.
And then you guys reached out and were like, "Hey, let's do a little buddy read." I was like, "Yes, I want to read this so bad. Let's do it." So good.
Yes.
So much.
I know. So we have another week to finish it, and I'm very excited to see the end. So
Yeah, I'm
we'll
excited.
look forward to it then too. But thank you all for listening or watching on whatever you're doing.
Hi, YouTube.
And happy reading.
Yeah.
We'll catch you
see
next
ya
time.
next week.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.